12 months ago, she was ranked 141st in the world. Nobody was writing magazine covers about her. Nobody was filling stadiums to watch her practice. Nobody was building entire TV segments around what she might do next. And then, in less than a year, everything changed. Her name is Alex Eala. She is 20 years old. She is from the Philippines. And right now, at the 2026 BNP Paribas Open at Indian Wells, she is a seeded player in a WTA 1000 event for the very first time in her career. Why, let that land for a second. 12 months ago, 141st in the world. Today, world number 31, the highest-ranked Filipino tennis player in the entire history of the sport in her country. Walking into the California desert with a target painted on her back, an entire nation watching every single point she plays, and the kind of external pressure that most players do not encounter until they have been competing at the elite level for a full decade. But a ranking number alone does not tell you what she actually had to survive to get here. It does not tell you about the wildcard entries where she walked in as an afterthought and walked out having beaten Grand Slam champions. It does not tell you about the months grinding on the ITF circuit, battling through W75 events on courts far from the spotlight, trying to bridge the enormous gap between junior success and senior reality when that gap feels impossibly wide. And it definitely does not tell you what happened when she finally stepped onto the court in this round of 64 at Indian Wells, facing one of the most dangerous players on the entire planet. With her seeded status on the line, the whole tennis world paying close attention, and the pressure of first-time expectations sitting heavily on her shoulders. Because waiting across the net was Dayana Yastremska, Ukrainian, former world number 21, three-time WTA title holder, when a player who walked into the 2024 Australian Open as a qualifier and blasted her way all the way to the semifinals, taking down seed after seed in one of the most emotionally compelling single-player runs that tournament had seen in years. When Yastremska is locked in, and she was locked in this week, having just dispatched the highly experienced Chinese veteran Zhang Shuai in the opening round, and finding her rhythm and sharpening her timing on the high-bouncing desert courts, she does not just beat you. She takes you apart piece by piece, so you had the fastest rising player on the WTA Tour, against one of the most dangerous unseeded floaters in any draw in the world, on one of the most demanding and punishing hard-court surfaces on the entire tour, with a section of the bracket that already had the full tennis world buzzing from the moment the draw was made. And the stakes could not have been more loaded. For Eala, this was not just a second-round match. This was the first real test of whether her number 31 ranking reflects who she actually is as a player, or whether it was a hot streak that the experienced top-level players would eventually see through and expose. The pressure of being seeded for the first time in a WTA 1000 is a completely different animal from anything she has navigated before. You are no longer the hunter. You are the hunted. Every single opponent wants to put your name on their resume. Every loss lands differently. Every close set carries extra weight. That shift in how you carry yourself on court, mentally and physically, is something she had never managed in an environment this large, with this much at stake. For Yastremska, this was a genuine golden opportunity. A seeded player carrying first-time expectations, a draw loaded with pressure from every direction, a surface with its own very specific demands. Then if you can impose your game early, take the first set at pace, and make the moment feel bigger than the young player across the net is ready for. That is a formula that has worked against far more experienced players than Eala. Yastremska had been on tour long enough to understand every inch of that formula. She arrived in Indian Wells with a very specific plan. But here is what nobody was fully discussing before this match started. And the winner was not just playing for ranking points and prize money. Sitting in the third round, watching the draw unfold, was Coco Gauff, world number 4, American hometown hero, multiple Grand Slam titles, the full roar of a home crowd in her corner, and the player who had stopped Eala in the quarterfinals in Dubai just weeks earlier. If Eala won this match, the draw delivered exactly what the entire tennis world was already quietly talking about: a rematch, on right here in the California desert, on a surface that suits Eala's heavy topspin baseline game even more than the indoor conditions in Dubai had. The narrative layers stacked in this section of the bracket are almost overwhelming in their weight, and the atmosphere on the grounds of Indian Wells reflected every single one of them before a single ball had been struck. By the time these two players walked out to begin their warm-up, the stands were already a wall of sound. Like the Filipino fans had packed that court, flags everywhere. The chanting began before the first ball was struck. This is something that has become a completely defining signature of the Eala experience on tour. Wherever she plays in the world, the Filipino diaspora shows up in numbers, not just to cheer, to create something that genuinely feels like a full home crowd in an arena that is technically on neutral ground. Earlier in the week, fans had been lined up at practice court 6 just to watch her warm up and hit forehands. Not a match, not a press conference, practice sessions. Think about what that actually means. You are Dayana Yastremska. You have been to Grand Slam semifinals. You are ranked 52nd in the world. You have won 3 WTA titles. You have built your entire career through relentless hard work and sheer competitive resilience over years and years of grinding at the highest levels. And from the very first point of the warm-up, the crowd is not just behind your opponent. It is working actively and constantly against you. Every winner she hits triggers a full stadium eruption. Every unforced error you make lands in near silence. The emotional imbalance is relentless. It does not ease in the second set. It does not ease in the third. It never lets up for a single game. That is not a tennis match. That is psychological warfare layered on top of physical warfare. And it goes on for hours. Yastremska is built to handle pressure. She plays first strike, hyper-aggressive tennis, flattening out her ground strokes, taking the ball exceptionally early, denying her opponents the time they need to think and properly reset. Her two-handed backhand is a lethal weapon when she is balanced and reading the ball well from the back of the court. Her return of serve is constructed to put the server immediately on the defensive from the very first point of every game. She does not want to construct points with patience. She wants to end them before you have a chance to breathe. But here is the specific and fundamental problem with playing that brand of tennis at Indian Wells. The plexipave hard courts at the BNP Paribas Open are unlike any other surface on the entire professional tour. In the desert heat, the ball moves through the air with pace and energy. But the moment it contacts the court, something changes immediately. When the grit in that surface grabs the ball, slows it, kicks it high. For a flat hitter like Yastremska, who relies on driving cleanly and completely through the court to generate the pace her game requires, this is a constant challenge throughout every single match played here. If she does not hit fully through the ball on any given shot, the surface absorbs that pace. The ball slows just enough, and suddenly, what was intended as a clean passing winner becomes a ball that a fast, anticipatory mover with good court sense can track down, get behind, and redirect back with interest. Eala is exactly that mover. She trained at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Spain. She is a southpaw from Quezon City. Her signature shot, that heavy looping left-handed forehand, generates the kind of topspin that the grit of the Indian Wells surface amplifies rather than neutralizes. She yanks right-handed opponents out wide toward the ad court, creating angles that should not be accessible. Wangan uses the slower pace of the bounce to give herself the time she needs to close those angles down before the opponent can recover and reposition. Over the last 12 months, she has completely stopped just defending and started actively dictating rallies. She has added genuine weight and depth to her shots that simply did not exist in her game 18 months ago. Then her preparation for this tournament included regular hitting sessions with Laura Siegemund, a player renowned for possessing one of the highest tennis IQs in the women's game, working specifically on court positioning, moving forward through rallies, and finishing points cleanly at the net when the opportunity opens up. We saw that work clearly on display throughout this match. Eala was not anchored at the baseline, waiting passively for something to happen. She was moving through the court, or closing angles and taking the ball forward. But Yastremska brought the fight to her anyway, because Yastremska is a warrior. You do not reach the semifinals of the Australian Open as a qualifier without carrying something inside you that cannot be trained or coached into existence. She knew the slow courts would work against her flat game. She knew the crowd would be deafening and relentless. So she adjusted. She attacked Eala's backhand wing early and often. She stepped inside the baseline on second serves to steal the initiative before Eala could get settled. She deployed the drop shot to drag Eala forward out of the deep baseline positions she prefers to operate from. When Yastremska gets that game plan executing cleanly, when the timing is precise and the angles open up, she looks entirely unplayable. She produces winners from court positions where most other players are simply working to survive the rally. For stretches of this match, that is exactly what she delivered. And then something shifted. Something quiet, something that has become Eala's most underrated and most critical weapon across every single match she has played over the last 12 months. She made her play one extra ball every single time. That is it. That is the whole thing. When Yastremska redlined and hit 3 consecutive clean winners, Eala did not panic. She did not chase the pace or try to match power with power on a surface that rewards patience above everything else. She reset. She trusted her fitness, slid into her open stance backhand, and sent heavy neutralizing balls deep into the court, pushing Yastremska back and forcing her into another decision, another full swing, another opportunity to miss. Against a high-risk, high-reward player, that one extra ball is often the entire match in miniature. Or it is the specific difference between a forced error and a clean winner. And Eala has learned, at 20 years old, how to drain the danger completely out of the most threatening moments without ever letting the slightest trace of it show on her face. Her lateral movement has sharpened so significantly over the past year that it has become an offensive weapon rather than just a defensive one. But she reaches balls that players with 5 or 10 more years of professional experience on tour struggle to even get a racket on. She absorbs the weight and pace of a full Yastremska strike with a composure that looks impossibly natural for someone who is still only 20 years old. This is precisely what the Dubai Tennis Championships last month confirmed. When Eala upset world number 8 Jasmine Paolini, it was not because she outblasted her from the baseline. And it was because she refused to allow any single moment in that match to become a turning point that swung things against her. She converts chaos into calm. She takes pressure and transforms it into something steady and controlled. At 20 years old, with the eyes of an entire nation following her every move, that quality is not normal. It is rare. It is the kind of thing that defines careers. And the crowd at Indian Wells felt every single bit of it in real time. One fans flew in from the Philippines for this week, not just to watch a tennis match, to watch history being made by someone from their country who is competing at heights no Filipino player has ever come close to reaching in this sport. The passion of the Filipino diaspora is not just emotional in nature, it is organized, it is loud, it is deeply informed, and it understands precisely what this moment represents both for Eala personally and for the broader region. When Eala spoke recently about the rising strength of players from Thailand and Indonesia alongside her, she was pointing toward a broader movement that is genuinely beginning to reshape women's tennis globally. But she remains the spearhead of that movement. She is the one already doing what nobody from Southeast Asia has done before at this level on the WTA Tour. The global tennis community is watching her closely. Tournament directors are watching, broadcasters are watching, and right now, when sitting in the 3rd round of Indian Wells, waiting, Coco Gauff is watching. If Eala advances, a potential 3rd round matchup against Gauff is not just another high-profile match. It is a direct rematch of their Dubai quarterfinal. On a surface that suits Eala's looping topspin baseline game considerably more than the indoor hardcourts in the Middle East. Meaning it is the live question of whether the fastest rising player on the WTA Tour is ready to go one step further than she managed last time against the player who stopped her. Tournament organizers and broadcasters dream of exactly this kind of draw section. 2 young, fiercely competitive, wildly marketable players who have already demonstrated they can push each other completely to the edge. When the atmosphere a potential Eala Gauff 3rd round clash would generate on a stadium court in the California desert would be unlike anything this tournament has experienced in years. But to get to that match, she had to get fully through Yastremska first. Through the flat ground strokes and the first strike aggression and the drop shots and the tactical pressure applied from the very first game, wind through the weight of first-time seeded player expectations in one of the biggest tournaments on the calendar. Through the roar of the crowd and the flags, and the emotion and the sheer physical and mental toll of holding everything together across a full professional match at this intensity. Yastremska remains a major threat on any court she walks onto on any given day. Her ranking of 52 does not represent her ceiling. It never has, and everyone on tour knows it. But she has blasted through full draws before, and she will do it again. Her career is far from written. But after what we witnessed in that round of 64 in the California desert, the movement, the composure, the absolute refusal to let a single moment turn against her. One thing is no longer up for debate anywhere in the tennis world. She is not a story anymore. She is a fact. Alex Eala, world number 31, the highest-ranked Filipino player in history, was seeded for the very first time in a WTA 1000 event, is a legitimate and dangerous threat in the upper tier of women's tennis. She moves like a veteran who has been here 100 times. She competes with the mental clarity of someone who has already processed every version of this pressure. She turns the weight of expectation into fuel. And she does all of it at 20 years old, with millions watching on the slowest and most physically demanding hard-court surface on the entire professional tour. And the tournament is not over. Golf is still there. The draw only gets harder from this point forward, and Eala's week in the desert is still actively being written. But after everything we saw in that second round at Indian Wells, do you actually think she is afraid of what comes next? I want to hear from you. Do you believe Eala has the complete all-court game to go past Coco Gauff and crack the WTA top 10 by the end of this year? Or do the battle-tested veterans, the Yastremskas, among the heavy hitters who have seen everything this tour can throw at a player, still carry the weapons to find the gaps and exploit them? Leave everything you think in the comments below. I read all of them, and this community's breakdown pushes every analysis further every single time. If this video delivered for you, hit that like button. It keeps this channel running and lets us keep bringing you this depth of coverage for every major match of the 2026 season. Unsubscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a single update as we track the full Sunshine Double from Indian Wells all the way through to Miami next week.